This is my super chunky goldfish Jigglypuff, and this is my not quite as chunky goldfish, Millie Bobby Goldfish II, and they finally laid eggs today. I've been waiting for these guys to lay eggs for so long, and today was finally the day. So I went down to check on my goldfish tanks like I do every morning, and I noticed that the water was slightly more cloudy, and I saw a little bit of chasing going on. This means there's a little bit of sperm in the water, and the males are actively chasing the females. This is good. This means there's some females in the tank that are full of eggs that if they haven't dropped the eggs already, they're ready to drop them. I was eating my ground beef for breakfast like I normally do, but this was so important. I've been waiting for this day for so long, I had to put the ground beef on pause, and I had to get straight to filling up some containers to capture these eggs. Once I got the shallow containers filled with some water, I got Codeman, and I began to release some sperm from Codeman into the water. Last year, I had bred Giga Chad, may he rest in peace, and Mr. Clean, but Codeman was left out of the breeding, so I felt bad. I decided this year, if I get a good spawn, it's gonna come from Codeman. So I got as much sperm from Codeman as I could. Next, I got Jigglypuff, and I started releasing the eggs from her, and she was holding a ton of eggs. This was a very, very large spawn, and it took quite a while for it all to get out. So I know I released a bunch of sperm from Codeman before releasing all these eggs, but even after I finished releasing all the eggs, I like to add just a little more sperm afterwards because I like to kind of sandwich it. I like to have a little bit of sperm in the water, release the eggs, and then immediately release a little more sperm afterwards to, get a good chance that they get some sort of contact with them. So then next, in a separate container, this one for Millie's eggs, again I got Codeman and started releasing some of Codeman's sperm into this thing. And he actually had quite a bit in his tank. He still had a lot of sperm. So I released as much sperm as I could right then from Codeman. And then I got Millie Bobby Goldfish and started releasing her eggs. She also had a very large spawn. Not quite as large and hefty as a spawn as Jigglypuff, but it was still very big. And then again, after I was done spawning her eggs out, I got Codeman again and started releasing his sperm again to kind of sandwich it, and he still had some in the tank. The guy basically had like an endless tank of it. After I captured both batches of eggs, I set up a chair and a box for these buckets to be on, where they're going to be close to an airline tubing so I can have an air stone in them while they incubate. And I decided to name the Jigglypuff babies the Jiggly Codes, because they're Jigglypuff and Codeman. And then I decided to name the Millie's babies the Millie Codes. So we got the Millie Codes and the Jiggly Codes that are incubating now. So about 15 minutes after fertilization, I actually like to dump out all the old spermy water so there's basically like no water left in the container, and then fill it back up with nice fresh clean water because these eggs spoil so easily. I literally do this probably like 4 times a day when they're incubating. I also did decide to use methylene blue in these batches of eggs just to prevent any potential fungus, and you do about 10 drops per gallon, and I guess there's maybe around like 1.5 gallons in each of these, so I put about 15 drops in each of the containers. After it was all said and done, these are what the eggs looked like right after fertilization, and you honestly cannot see you can't see anything. You can't see if they're fertilized or not, you can't see if they're dead or not, but about 5-6 hours after fertilization, I went back to the eggs and I recorded them again, and this is what I saw. And as you can see, it looks like there's a lot of kind of clear looking eggs, and this is actually really good. This got my hopes up a ton. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is an extremely high fertilization rate. I was really excited. And then I went back the next day and I looked at the eggs again, and I saw a lot of cloudy eggs, especially in Jigglypuff's batch. Unfortunately, I see like a vast majority of them were not fertilized. And at this point, I was honestly just considering just scrapping the entire batch and throwing it away, like doing it to both of them because they both looked like there was nothing in them. But I decided to wait, and then later today I checked them, and again, there is really not that many fertilized eggs in Jigglypuff's batch, but I checked Millie's batch, and even though, a vast majority of them are not fertilized, there are a lot of fertilized eggs. So I think I am going to combine both of these batches, and I do plan on raising these goldfish up. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and don't forget to order a Tubby Toby plushie. They're now available. I have like 1,000 in my garage, so order now. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.